Please listen. In 1992, white people had a referendum to decide whether they're going to allow the vote. And we gave the vote because we thought that what was happening was
yours to give. Do you acknowledge that? It was not your country to take in the first place, but we acknowledge the fact that you are here.
I found that it was time to really start critically examining my own whiteness rather than trying to understand blackness.
Borrow me your language, please. Even just a little bit of slang.
I realized that the entertainment has value in terms of bringing people into the space. And then once they're in the space, that is the chance for the education to begin, you know. So this piece is important because I think the role of artists, especially young white South African artists right now, needs to be this idea of critically examining whiteness for what it is in a South African context, and then hopefully exporting whatever it is that we learned to the rest of the global context. I feel that as artists, we have a responsibility, once we've asked people to pay attention to us, to give them something worth paying attention to. And I think one of the things that I personally have never done is turned around to people of my kind or my race and said, this is what we need to be talking about. And I think that we have the ability and we have the platforms as artists to do that.
What does that statue stand for? What state is it in? It seems to be a symbolic state, or at least a state of symbolism. It's definitely standing still. It's definitely still standing. But whose security does that statue stand for? Whose state does it still secure?
I always found it very easy to look at black people and say, oh, there's a victim of oppression, or these people are oppressed, or there's historical disadvantage. But I'd never once looked at myself and said, oh, historical advantage, you know, perpetrator, beneficiary, you know, and that journey to that point really brought me to a starting point, because I'm only starting, you know. And then I started to have these conversations, and I realized that I was just one in like a minority, you know. And that this conversation is the reason that things are blowing up right now, is because this conversation should have been 20 years ago. We should have been having this conversation, you know.
White people, I'm writing to tell you that I think we have a problem. I think that someone has spotted our weak sense of security and is trying to break in. Lord knows that we've built some strong walls in the past, but the foundations were weak, and those walls were never going to last.